which is really about what it is right now. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, "This month shall be the beginning of months for you. It is to be the first month of the year for you. Speak to all the congregation of Israel, saying on the 10th of this month, they are each one to take a lamb for themselves according to their father's household, a lamb for each house. Your lamb shall be an unblemished male a year old. You may take it from the sheep or the goats. You'll keep it until the 14th day of the same month. Then the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel is to sacrifice the lamb at twilight. And they shall take some of the blood and put it on the two doorposts and on the lintel of the house in which they eat it. They shall eat the flesh that night, roasted with fire. They shall eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs." Now I'm going to verse 11. "Now you shall eat it in this way, with your garment belted around your waist, your sandal on your feet, your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in a hurry. It is the Lord's Passover." 3,000 years ago, the children of Israel were told by God through their leaders at sundown, "Go into your homes and don't come out, stay there until the morning, because a plague would be passing through the land." The Passover, the only time in world history that the nation of Israel or any nation in its entirety was commanded to do so. But 1 year ago, something happened. The nation of Israel was commanded by their leaders to go into their homes and not come out and stay there to the morning. Why? Because a plague was passing through the land. First time in 3,000 years that this ever happened to the Jewish people. Never happened until 2020. And the day that the government of Israel commanded the people of Israel to do this happened to be Passover. The order came down from the government. It had nothing to do with the holiday. It had to do with the timing. And it came into effect in the early evening as the sun was going out, just like Passover. And they were to stay with their immediate families, just like Passover, until the morning, just like Passover. And the reason why, which had nothing to do with this, and yet God is the weaver, is because of a plague called COVID-19, which we are still dealing with. There was one nation on earth that had such an ordinance on that exact day a year ago. It was Israel. So the people of Israel are locked in their homes. They're reading about years ago when they were locked in their homes. They're commemorating the night that a plague is passing through the land, on the night that a plague was passing through the land. But it's not only them. It was all over the world. The people of nations from Russia, China, India, Africa, Latin America, Asia, they were all locked in their homes because a plague was passing through their land. And it was the season, and it was the day, and the feast of Passover. And nobody planned the timing, of course. It was as if God was bringing the whole world, allowing it to come into the mystery of Passover. It all crystallized at that time, if you remember. That's when we shut down the live service. We went to online at the time around Passover. What is the center and the focus and the answer of Passover? It's the lamb, the Passover lamb. And what is the focus of the mystery of the lamb? It is Messiah. Messiah is the Passover lamb, the fulfillment. Our faith is a Passover faith. It begins on the day of his crucifixion. What day was that? Passover. It's the only faith in the world that begins on Passover. And the gospel is a Passover message. What is the gospel? We were once slaves in darkness, but we were saved by the blood of the Lamb. That's Passover. And the message has spread across the world. And in the year 2020, the Western world and beyond, it was a civilization that was increasingly turning away from the faith, away from the Lamb, away from the Passover Lamb. And what happened in 2020? The world was brought back into the dynamic of the Passover. Amazing. And do you know the nation that is first, speaking of coming out of the plague, that went into it, they had the vaccine and all that? It's Israel, the same nation that was commanded to go into their homes a year ago.